Let's take a look at how things went down in Denver. And for the Broncos, it was a pretty good night. Peyton Manning threw 9 touchdown passes with no interceptions coming into this one, and very efficient tonight. First drive for Peyton Manning, just dumping it off there to Eric Decker.
Sheds a few tackles, big Eric Decker.
Decker's been doing that quite often the last couple of years. Finds Decker again here, and then big Demaryius Thomas. How about all these weapons, LT?
And big guys, big physical receivers. Peyton loves it.
DT was doubled. He still diced it in
And
there.
then the small guy
there.
Mighty Mite, Wes Welker.
And here's Decker with his first touchdown of the season. That drive, Peyton was 5 of 6 for 55 yards, and the Broncos take a 7-0 lead. Peyton Manning far from done, looking for Demaryius Thomas again, and this is a connection we've seen a lot over the last 2 years, isn't it?
It's hard to get that wide open.
Especially when you're, 6'4", 235 or whatever he is?
He's spreading the wealth, finds Ronnie Hillman for a 12-yard gain. Then on the very next play to Welker for 9. I mean, they're just picking up chunks of yardage. Not huge chunks, but pretty big chunks. And then Welker again.
Across the middle. But I loved how Wes finished that previous highlight. Trying to run people over, get that extra yard. And then what do you do there?
And then he scores the touchdown. So the Broncos,
that was 7th Manning taking advantage of Charles Woodson, the safety, not the corner.
Very different, right? Peyton 5 for 5 on that drive. And then on the next drive, how about Eric Decker breaking a tackle? 61 yards. This is a chunk play, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Kind of looked like Barry Sanders a little bit when he twisted around that defender a long time ago.
First time Eric Decker's
A little bit.
compared to Barry Sanders. Peyton again to Demaryius Thomas for 6 yards. These guys just moving on down the field.
That just looked like Randy Moss a little bit.
And this time to Julius Thomas for the touchdown. Broncos up 24-7. Manning, a perfect 3 for 3 on that drive for 80 yards. At one point, he completed 15 straight passes. As for Terrell Pryor, things not going nearly as well. Pryor looking deep for Denarius Moore, and it actually went pretty well here, didn't it?
That's a nice play.
Well, some bad tackling, some poor angles on the defensive side of the ball, but I think Denver fans are kind of used to some bad angles and bad stuff in that defensive backfield at times.
Well, that was
Don't remind them.
73-yard touchdown, and here's where the bad comes in. The snap over Pryor's head, chucks it up. He's lucky he didn't get picked off here. The Raiders couldn't get anything going on offense, and they're forced to punt. So in the third, the Broncos get the ball, and they're moving. Ryan Clady's replacing as Chris Clark did pretty well until here. Lamar Houston gets to Peyton Manning and forces the fumble.
Well, Houston, he was persistent all night long. Peyton, you normally don't get those edge sacks on him. LT, tell me about this one.
Hey, the halfback pass, great throw. See how he avoided the pressure and put a nice lob pass
Did you
in
teach
there?
him that?
I taught him that,
Okay.
yes.
Darren McFadden to Marcel Reese. The Raiders still trailing 30-14. And in the fourth quarter, Peyton trying to do some more bit damage here to Wes Welker for 32 yards.
Wes Welker down the seam.
3 plays later, 1st and goal on the Raiders 1, and this is Ronnie Hillman. They really spread the ball, not just passing, but running tonight too. All 3 running backs for the Broncos got their touches. And then here's Terrell Pryor.
Oh,
Gets hit hard.
young fella, you want to avoid those? You're not Tim Tebow.
Yeah, that's not going to feel good. I don't care who you are. Take another look at this thing. Pryor just crushed. We'll have an update on his status as we get it. So the final score.
I can tell you that status. I've seen that look before.
What did you call it? A goofy smile?
Mm-hmm.
All right, 37-21. The Broncos beat the Raiders. Denver now 3-0 on the season. The Raiders drop to 1-2. Peyton Manning, 3 touchdown passes. So let me see. That's 10, 11, 12 touchdown passes with 0 interceptions on the season for Peyton Manning. Don't think he's looked any better than this.